to the people watching.
All right, we are recording. All right, we're doing it.
Here's to episode 1 of Onionhasaeyopod.
Okay, next time we have to have an intro, but today is just a rough draft, vibey feel. Okay, so our podcast is called Onionhasaeyopod. And why is that? Say it like that? Onionhasaeyopod. Okay, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? What's happening?
Great questions. Let's dive in.
Why are we letting our intrusive thoughts win?
Yes. Why don't you go first, my co-host?
Yes. Okay. We're just another couple of friends, like everyone else, who thought we should start a podcast, and we're actually making it happen.
Yes. I think when we, meet up for coffee and do these things, we already do this just in our own time, and we're like, why don't we just record this?
I know.
We have some fun moments, and I'm hoping that the audience over there, that you guys get to see these moments of us being so weird and awkward and fun. But yeah, just think of us as your online besties.
Your online besties. I feel like it was just funny because you sent me that TikTok yesterday of like what best friends have not thought we should start a podcast. Yeah. I was like, that's literally us.
Literally us to a T. Like, we're like, it became a small idea and then it just bloomed into this thing. Like, you guys don't even know yet because they haven't dropped, but we did a whole photo shoot. We had like all this stuff ordered. Like, we were ready.
Okay, the crazy thing is we're filming this right now, but we don't even have an official Apple channel yet.
Not yet.
Spotify account yet.
It's the early beginnings.
But once this is released, we'll have
something.
Everything together. Okay, the why. In my opinion, I feel like, because we've been talking about this for a long time, or like we always joked about it, like every time we hang out, and I'm sure this is like every other friend pair.
Shout out to the friends out there who are thinking the same thing.
Like, oh my god, we should have recorded this. This would be a great podcast episode. But I feel like we were like, the biggest, like, I think pivot moment for us was when I remember I was on my staircase. We were chatting and I was like, dude, TikTok ban. Morale is low.
Yes.
I'm a teacher. Morale is always low. And I was like, dude, it's time. It's time to be in our podcast era.
Yes. And I think just to go off of that, for me, like, I work in tech and, there's long days and, there's times of burnout. And I think at that time we're itching close to those. For me, burnout hurt just having that creative rut. And so it just felt like the right time in both of our individual lives. It's just like the timing was right. Everything was falling into place. And we just wanted a creative outlet where we could kind of just express ourselves and just like have this space to just chit chat and like be raw and honest. Like, we've been friends for a very long time, but like in this kind of format, I'm like interested to see like how vulnerable and like deep we'll get with each other. There's going to be things I don't know about Lois as well, and vice versa. So that'll be fun to kind of explore.
Yeah. I realized we didn't even say our names.
Yeah. This is what happens when you're a beginner. We're sorry about that. You want to go first?
I'm Lois.
I'm Irene. And we are.
This is Onionhasaeyopod podcast. What's our little tagline again? Where we peel back the layers of our friendship,
culture,
and identities.
Hopefully that resonates with people. If it's not obvious enough, we're two Korean Americans just living our millennial lives and trying to navigate this life. So if you're doing the same thing and want to come along, join us for this ride.
Yeah, so I wanted to get into the name of our podcast.
Sure.
I literally thought about it in the shower. We were talking about a podcast for a while, and then I was like, obviously we didn't even throw out names yet. And then I was in the shower and I was like, 안녕하세요. I wanted it to be a play on the word, like kind of like a Korean word, because like we're Korean American and I feel like that's that's going to play into a lot of what we'll talk about.
Right, right.
And then it just like happened instantly because Onionhasaeo, like, so for people who don't know, Onionhasaeo is hello in Korean, and then onion is an onion.
Yes, yes.
So it's kind of like a pun, play on the word
yeah.
being. But then I felt like it worked because I don't know why I had like a flashback to I feel like in college days or even maybe like after that where I felt like we talked about like how you're like an onion or like we're like onions.
Yes.
I remember you would be like, I'm like an onion.
There's
There's layers.
I remember that too. Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, oh, it feels so fitting. Like Onionhasaeo, it's like it plays into like our Korean American like identity, but also like peeling back the layers. And I feel like that's a big reason why I wanted to do this was because mostly for you too. I was like, I want people to see more of you.
Yeah. And
Me
likewise.
too, fine, whatever. But,
don't be yourself.
But yeah, I was like, man, this would be a fun way to just peel back the layers.
Yeah, and just to play off of that too, like I think as people we're like convoluted. There's a lot to us. So, we're more than being more than one dimensional. And I feel like Lois said, like peeling back the layers, being an onion, it's so representative of like us as people, but like for all you guys watching as well, I'm sure, you're more than your job, you're more than your hobbies, your personalities. There's like different things, and so I'm just excited, and I hope that through our conversations there's people out there that also resonate with what we talk about. And yeah, like I'm excited to be vulnerable. I told Lois, I was like, at one of these episodes either one or both of us has to cry.
Okay, but it won't be forced tears.
No forced tears. It has to be organic.
But I think it'll be really it's I feel like if anything, if we don't gain an audience following, whatever, I was like, this will be fun for us. Number one, to have fun with it. And number two, it'll actually like challenge us to be like very intentional about what we talk about with each other. And that'll be very interesting. Because it's like when we hang out, we're just always like, la la la, like Yap City, like, like, but I feel
Yap
like
City.
Yap City. But like, I feel like sometimes we don't get into like the deep stuff that is hard to get into just because it's like I'm not just gonna start sobbing in a coffee shop like in public. So I feel like this is a good opportunity for us to just get into things.
Yeah,
and like
in a safe space. Guys, if you're not familiar, this is a home, and this is Lois's home.
Welcome to the living room.
She's giving us her space to record this. So yeah,
one day we might have a new space. We might have an upgrade.
We'll see. Again, bare bones. And also, before we get started, guys, I don't know if you guys can tell, but we have some snacks on the table.
Okay, we wanted to spotlight, or I feel like every episode will be spotlighting either like Asian American small businesses or like nostalgic snacks of our childhood, which I feel like are very majorly Korean snacks. Your typical H Bar finds.
Right. We're starting off strong today
with the Saeokgang. I have to note though that I went to H Mart, and because our podcast is Onionhasaeo, I was like, we have to get the onion rings. But they were not there. So Nongshim, get us the onion, because you saw them on Amazon, right?
Yes. So guys, Lois lives in OC and I live in LA. So OC wasn't having it, and I think LA has some. But
do you know if they? I'm
pretty sure.
Okay.
Because my mom has seen them in the stores.
Okay.
But I just took a gander on Amazon, and it was being sold for $23. $23. Yes, and if you guys know this snack, it's normally like $3-4.
It was like $2.99 or whatever.
Yeah. And also for people who don't know what Saeokgang means, it's shrimp chip in English.
Yes. So I got the two different kinds. I got the carby.
Party foul.
I got the carby ones, and
you should do like the makeup. You hold the bag.
Yes. Carby, if you want to sponsor us one day, hello. But I also got the Nongshim one. I feel like we almost need to do like a. What do you think is better? Do you think this is the OG Nongshim?
That's the OG.
I think so too. This is the because I think this is like the Korean brand. Yeah. But some people are like dead set on this one being like the better one.
I didn't realize.
I don't know. We'll see. Wait, I like completely forgot what I I think this is the carby.
This is the OG.
This is the
side.
OG.
Yeah.
So
I have the OG side, guys.
okay. I'm gonna get a carby one. You get a saokang one. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. An ASMR moment. You want to try the other one?
Man.
I feel like we need to like do right now and just be like, which one is better? Okay, this is the saokang, right? It's darker. It's more toasted. That's so interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. I'm still like a little congested because I'm recovering from whatever sickness I had. I can't tell the difference.
Okay, actually, okay, I think I can. So the first one I had tried, it's like
Did you try the carby one?
I think so. So like one of them is like a little bit lighter in color, and the other one's darker. So the one that's lighter in color, I'm gonna be honest, guys. These are some nostalgic snacks, but it tastes like cardboard.
Wait, you don't like it?
No, it's a nostalgic. But then when I tried the OG snack, I was like, okay, there's a little bit more flavor there. So
cardboard?
No shade, no shade to carby. I love. Korean
so
snacks.
you don't like the carby one?
I think it's less flavorful
than the original or the cream? Okay.
But I think both of them are kind of like cardboard, but like I love it, you know?
So this isn't like a yummy snack for you, just nostalgic?
Yeah, guys, I haven't had this snack in years. This is my first time having it in a while.
Oh
so,
my God.
And it's for this podcast. So. Love that.
Okay. All right. Well, that's our little snack spotlight.
But yes, tune in for the next episode to see what we eat next. Yes.
Okay. What? I mean, I guess like I wanted to preface with like what kind of stuff we'll be talking about. And I think the biggest thing I wanted to preface was that like the things we talk about is real like we're not eloquent, knowledgeable, like experts on this and this and that. Like we're really just gonna be talking based off of our experiences and our perceptions and our like worldview as Korean American girlies. I'm an OC, tried and true OC Christian girly. You're an LA girly.
But I was born in the OC.
Yeah, but I feel like your makeup and your
Style.
like just you who you are, like your heart, you're an LA girly.
I am.
And then that and like you're in the tech space. I'm a teacher. We'll get into like our careers and stuff down the line, but just like what we do for work plays a big part. I feel like we'll get into our families.
Yes.
I feel like even like you being a magnet and me being a middle child, like that affects our worldview.
It does.
We'll get into that. But yeah, I just feel like that's kind of where we're coming from. So I feel like I just like it's so scary to like put our thoughts out there and then people to be like, why aren't you speaking on this? Why aren't you speaking on that? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, we're just two little Korean American girlies who are going to be talking about what we know, what we've experienced. And if that's not your cup of tea, then
totally fine.
It's fine.
Yeah.
You can move on.
And guys, we'll be jumping around because as you can tell just from the beginning of this podcast, we don't have a script. It's like off the riff. So, bear with us. We're going to go off topic here and there, but we'll bring it back.
Bare bones over here. Yes. We have our little notes for like to guide us because we need help.
We did prep.
But I feel like, I don't know. I felt like I wanted it to be very conversational, very chill.
And before we get into the deep things of things, shout out to our friends who will be watching these. And
to our audience. What do you think our first video audience like rating will be?
10 people, which is great. And if they learn anything or two about us that they haven't discovered yet, this will be that time. So I'm a little nervous for that, but like we'll see. We'll see.
I mean, okay, what are your insecurities about this podcast? Because already I'm like, my voice, I hate hearing my own voice. I mean, it helps right now. I kind of like feeling a little nasally and raspy because I'm sick. I know. I almost was like, I lost my voice a couple days ago and I was like, oh my God, am I gonna have my voice back? But then I was like, oh, I like it when I lose my voice a little bit. But
tune in for episode 2 for her real voice.
We'll see. I don't know, but Yeah, so honestly, it was funny because when we talk about this, like sometimes I would like freak out a little bit, like, oh my God, we're actually doing this. But like I was talking to Ben the other day and I was like, dude, like my fear is
Ben
actually
is her husband.
yes, I'm married. Oh, I feel like we didn't even talk about our life stages, which we will get
We'll get
into,
into that.
which is a huge part of like our friendship and stuff like that. But yeah, I was telling him, I was like, I'm actually more scared that this does well than if it were to flop. I'm totally fine with it flopping. But yeah, I don't know. What are you insecure about, or what are you
Yeah, I
like?
think.
Ooh, when it comes to
Well, we were doing a test run before this, and I also don't like my recorded voice. I feel like I sound like a man. Like, I don't know, but I feel like everyone has that. But yeah, if you guys don't like my voice, just be nice in the comments. And I think for me personally, like I'm naturally an open book, so like I don't mind this kind of format and just chit chatting with my friends because this is what I do on the daily. But I think, um, just to get into it a little bit, yes, I work in the tech space, but like Lois is actually like a micro influencer in her own right, so she's been comfortable in front of the camera, and um, I just am not. It's kind of funny because years back we did think about like a mukbang channel and stuff like that, and like it's kind of like when you are like, let's go on a trip, and it's like an idea but it never takes off. But like this is an idea that took off, and I think that aspect kind of freaked me out a little bit of like, oh wow, like we have to do so many things to get ready, like even for our 10 followers that will come through hopefully. We scripted like the first 10 episodes of what we want to talk about. We got all the equipment that we want to like use, like these amazing decor. Shout out to this pillow and the throw. And like hiring a graphic designer to get our logo in there, and hopefully you guys see that soon. But we also did a photo shoot, so there's just a lot of different things, and I think it being a passion project, it made me excited. But like also, like if it takes off, which we're not expecting anything out of it, like that'll require even more time. So like it'll be a gradual like thing, but like just all those thoughts in one kind of like mounted together for me, I
yeah,
guess.
I feel like not a lot is on the line
Yeah.
because like there's no pressure right now in terms of like
We're having fun.
no one asked us to do this or like we don't have a deadline or anything. But I feel like since we started actually investing money and time into it, and it started to be like, oh shoot, like we're actually making this a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, guys, I think this was like 2-3 months in the making up, from like ideation to like us sitting down today to even chat about
Or
it. So.
I would say ideation was a lot longer just because we always talked about this for a long time.
That's true. Yeah.
But then the ideation of like, wait, let's actually do this to now was like, yeah, a couple months.
Yeah.
Which, yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Crazy. Time flies. All right, now to get to the meat of things.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our friendship, so people know who we are.
Yeah. I feel like that's the driving point for this podcast is our friendship, because we're in two very different life stages, but we've also just maintained a friendship for quite a long time now. Yeah. And I feel like the hot topic of like adult friendships is such a big like thing right now. Like, oh, adult friendships are so hard. Like, how do you navigate adult friendships? And I feel like we have a unique relationship. And so I was like, man, we just need to talk about, we're peeling back the layers of our friendship. Like, I don't know how it's worked, but we'll get into it. But yeah, how did we meet? What's our origin story?
Our origin story. What a loaded question.
I know.
But just to get into like the surface of it, it all started back in college, the great times. But basically, for me, when you're going into freshman year, you can decide if you want a roommate, like chosen for you or not, like random or not. And I think I chose random.
You had to have,
then.
because I did random too.
Yeah, and honestly, like this friendship is like, we'll get into this, but we really feel like it was like meant to be in a sense, because like it's just crazy how like our friendship has just like blossomed from that. But basically, yeah, like we were random roommates, and we met on the first day of dorm day, I think, when you like go into your dorm.
But I feel like we should also add that we like knew each other before.
That was like the funny thing.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try hard not to name drop people, but we have a mutual friend.
We have a mutual friend.
And so we met each other through like church events that
Yes.
you were brought to through that friend.
Through that
So
friend.
I knew of you, but
In
we
8th
were,
grade.
Yeah,
Yes.
middle school. We
Mhm.
were not even acquaintances. I just like knew of you. We knew of
Mhm.
each other.
Mhm.
We had like said hi to each other a couple of times, but
Yeah.
that was literally the extent of our
Then I never saw her again for 4 years.
Yeah. And then come college, dorm day.
I opened the door and I'm like, who's this? Like, she looks familiar. And I couldn't put my finger on it for a little bit. And I was like, wait, what?
Did we even message each other on like Facebook or anything before?
Maybe?
Because I feel like we found out about each other beforehand, right?
Because the names were there.
And then I almost feel like I like Facebook messaged you.
Maybe, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I remember like on the first day when we moved in, I was like, hey, you look familiar. I kept saying that.
Yeah.
And then we kind of put the pieces together of like, oh, we know each other through our mutual friend. And then we remembered back like, oh, in 8th grade, we did meet one time.
Yeah.
And we said hellos, but very casually.
Yeah.
And I knew nothing about her other than her being like our mutual friends, like best friend.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's kind of how it started. That's my view. How about you?
Yeah. I feel like we did message because I remember being like to our mutual friend, like, dude, Irene's my roommate, I think. And then being like, oh my God, that's crazy. Cause like we literally
I may have said that too.
Yeah, and then like I think because like people knew our mutual friend and knew that we kind of like knew of each other, everyone keeps thinking that like we picked each other to be roommates, but we were like constantly had to be like, no, it was random. Like we literally both picked random. We were in a triple, by the way.
Yes.
It was a third roomie.
We can go into that detail in the future.
There was no beef or anything. It was just like one of those situations where, and I feel like maybe other people have experienced this too. If they were in a triple, where like two people got a lot closer than the third person. I don't know, but
it was like a shoebox, guys, in there. I don't even know how we did that back then.
It was a triple, but it was like a loft situation.
Yeah, we got the bougie dorm, guys.
Yeah,
we got the bougie dorm. Did we get that assigned to us?
Yeah, I mean, I picked the dorm like section, like it was called Pentland. Yeah, shout out UCR.
What is it? R side? Okay.
Side.
I don't even know the sign, but R side.
Oh my God. Yeah, but we were in a triple situation. We were all chill.
Yeah.
But I think like just naturally we got a lot closer because we had a lot more in common, I guess. But also she was just very like lone wolfy. Like not a bad thing, but like we would always invite her to things. She'd be like, no, I'm good. We're like, okay, that's good.
Yeah, she had like a boyfriend when she first came in,
there was no beef, nothing. But I think it was just kind of like naturally she was just like, oh, I'm good. She had her own thing.
Yeah. She would like FaceTime him all the time, so we're like, okay, whatever.
She like always wanted to do her own thing. We're like, that's cool. So I think we just kind of got close through that.
Yeah. And that's crazy too, because you would go home every week.
Yeah, on the weekends. Yeah.
So it's like, even that is crazy. Like, given
you would stay. Yeah, because you lived in LA at the time and it just like made sense for you to stay there on the weekends. But yeah, that's like our origin story was the college roomies.
Little seed that like turned into this.
Yeah. I'm curious to know like what percentage of college roommate or friendships like blossom into survive adult friendship.
Oh, like a lifelong one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Because I feel like the good thing about college is, and I'm noticing that now in my adulthood too, it's like proximity really like helped. Like, even like to maintain friendships in adulthood, it's like you have to take into consideration like the time, because we don't live close to each other anymore, but I'm more flexible than she is because she also has a baby. And yeah, I think it's a mix of things. Like we have very vastly different life stages, but I don't know, it doesn't always work, I would say. Yeah. So maybe it's like a lucky situation.
Yeah. I feel like we should like talk about our life stage so that the people know.
Sure.
And I feel like that's a big part of our friendship is that we've survived and we've been able to navigate these drastic life changes. So I
Go
mean,
first.
okay, in college, I was dating, right? Yeah, and then eventually I went off to get married to my one and only.
One time,
One
guys.
and
That's
only
okay.
man.
One time. I want to emphasize that.
I guess he's
One
my high
and
school
done.
sweetheart.
Yeah, so
I feel weird saying that because we didn't go to the same high school.
Yeah.
Anyway, I guess
During that time
but we
period.
started dating high school, so I married my high school sweetheart.
Shout out to Ben.
Yes, hello, honey. But yeah, so I'm married.
Yes.
And I also have a kid.
She's going through all the milestones,
Yes,
guys.
my 2-year-old. I have a toddler, and I'm a working mom. I just finished grad school. Woo-woo!
Literally, we're celebrating through this podcast.
Yes. But that's kind of where I've been in my walk of life, and
yeah, guys. I am not any of those things. And I love how we said we weren't gonna name drop. I was just like, hey Ben.
yeah,
You guys can know Ben. You guys can know Ben.
Yeah.
Anyways, for me, hopefully I'm like 90% of people out there, but I am single. I am just living my life as my own person.
Yeah.
No kids involved, which also is nice in a sense, but also like I do get curious, like what is that like? Because like I've just in this time that she's had her marriage, her kids, I've just been dating a lot, and obviously we know the struggle out there. All my dating app users, you understand. So that's kind of like where I've been, and obviously like very focused in career. I think it's just because I have the mental capacity, but what I admire is that you've handled so much and like, it doesn't have to be perfect, but the fact that you're able to handle yourself, your family, and like your goals and dreams, and even doing this podcast, it's like, damn, she's like able to manage things. Cause I'm like, I'm busy just doing me and I'm struggling, you know what I mean? So
yeah. When you said like I'm just dating, I was like,
Mhm.
oh man, I knew you would like say something like that, but it's like I wish like we didn't like bring it down to just that, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like you're in your career. Like what era do you feel like you're in? Like you're in your
I've been in my boss girl era for a while. Like I'm in that phase of life where I'm like if I want something, I'll just do it. So like I just don't like to depend on someone else in like a career sense or just like in life if there's things I want to go do like travel. But like I don't know, I think people can relate to me out there, but like as you get older, I don't know if it's like the expectation or it's just like I'm just I don't know how to phrase this. It's like as you get older, you're like I'm already doing these things on my own anyway. Like is it really that much better to add someone into my life and like that investment? Because I have a really like good group of friends and I'm like they like love me wholeheartedly and I'm like, will a new guy like even compete with my friends who are just so awesome, So it's hard. Like I feel like it's easier when you're in high school and college because you have less things to compare to. And I never understood that when people mentioned that when I was younger, but now I do. It's like I understand why it's harder to date when you're older because yeah, you just have so many things to weigh in, I would say.
Yeah. I feel like you're in your like loving being single and embracing yourself, but still open.
Yeah,
to
very open
era.
I want to be in my lover girl era.
Yes.
Shout out Taylor Swift.
Need to find your Kelsey.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, they're so good. Okay.
I mean, I think that people need to know that you are still a hopeless romantic. Like,
oh yeah,
inside out, like that's who you are.
in my bones, I am.
Yeah.
But I think my views on dating and marriage has changed a lot.
Yeah,
Since
and we're
college.
officially both in our 30s.
Woo woo.
Well, that's crazy to say.
Out
Just turned 30.
Woo, golden era.
But yeah, I feel like being like I guess that's another aspect to our world. We're in our 30s. Yeah, just like that's so crazy to say.
We've known each other for so long.
Yeah.
Someone can do the math.
We made it to our 30s and we're still friends. That's huge.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay. So I guess we'll get into some questions. We drafted some questions. I feel like I
Yes.
wanted us to be as natural and conversational as possible, but I also thought for this episode, at least it would be fun to like have some structured
Of
questions
course,
to
yeah.
talk about. We might not get to everything, but
Mhm.
we'll just go through some of them
Yeah.
and just see how it goes. But the first question that I wrote, and I think it's important. So I wrote, what's your favorite quality about yourself and
Mhm.
least favorite?
Mhm.
And I thought it's kind of weird to say favorite quality of
Mhm.
yourself.
You gotta brag about yourself.
Yeah, so maybe we could say our least favorite, and then I'll uplift you, and
Yeah,
I'll
we'll
say
each
my
other.
favorite about you. You say your favorite about
Oh,
me.
we love that. Okay.
What's your? Do you have off the top of your head? What's your least favorite quality about yourself? Do you have something in mind, or?
I think okay, I just don't like how people phrase this, but um I think I care a lot. So in a negative light, it could look like people pleasing, but
Mm,
I don't mean it to look like that. It's more so I care about the people in my life so much that I just want to like do everything, but that could also come at the expense of me not caring about myself.
mm,
And I think there's a balance to that, right?
mhm,
Like where you can kind of take care of yourself and other people too, but sometimes I think I'm in the extreme of
mhm,
like the other party,
mm,
and I'm trying to learn boundaries.
mm.
Um but that's like a new thing. If we're just naming one, I would say that
Least that will be your least favorite about you
current
caring too much.
currently I think
Mm,
in the past when I was younger I'm like, no, yeah, like this seems right, but then I feel like as I've gotten older it's like a Achilles heel. It's something that
mm,
is a strength of mine in my personality type, I think.
mhm,
But also like in the wrong hands, it could like become like you're losing yourself also.
mm,
Like what I think about is if I wasn't like caring to my friends or like, whatever, like who would be there at the end of the day, like when I'm
mhm,
not giving these things, giving my time. And I think that
mm,
goes for everyone, but I think yeah, if I were to do something a little bit deeper than, your typical like, oh, I don't like I don't know, the way my face looks or something like something less like that,
yeah,
but
yeah,
more like
yeah.
innate,
Uh-huh.
I would choose that. Yeah.
Like, would this word be the right word? Like, you feel like that's a double-edged sword,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this personality trait of yours of like
Yeah.
caring for people?
Yeah. I love it though,
Yeah.
but I also see like, you know, like I don't want to be taken advantage of too.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
it's not that I don't care for doing these things. It's
Yeah.
just like I want to protect myself too.
Yeah.
And I think I never thought about that until recently in the last like couple years of like, oh,
Uh,
like I'm of value too. And
mm,
like, I can say no. Like
mm,
even now, like I struggle with that, like saying
mm,
no to certain things,
mhm,
in different aspects of my life.
mhm,
But yeah, I think like everything, it takes balance.
mhm.
Hmm.
I mean, I guess I'll just go into then my favorite trait about you because I feel like, yeah, like it is a double-edged sword because I feel like that's your most positive trait too, though,
Hmm.
is that like
Yeah.
you're so caring and like
Yeah.
you really love people and you're very giving in terms of like your time, your
Hmm.
energy,
Hmm.
your, yeah, like of who you are.
Hmm.
And but I get how you can feel like that's like can
Hmm.
be negative. Yeah, like if people
Hmm.
take advantage, it just sucks because it's just like this world that we live in. A
Yeah.
perfect world, like that would be your superpower, which I
Yeah.
feel like it is.
Yeah.
But it's also, yeah, like we live in a cruel, cruel world.
Yeah. Thank you for validating. Like I do
Yeah,
love it. Like don't get me wrong, but
yeah, and I feel like we've had conversations too where it felt like we've talked about it, where it's like, man, like
hmm
you like don't let people take advantage of that. Like
yeah,
you like know your boundaries, like
yeah.
know your value. Like
Hmm.
not everyone is worth like all your kindness and all your that sounds like a really harsh thing to say, but at the same time it's kind of like you need to protect yourself,
Yeah.
right?
Like
Like
if I could put it in a dating context, it's like oh, like I want to be like I want to save this person or like fix them. It's kind of like that. Like any way I can help someone, like if I know that they're struggling, because this is how I view it. It's like in my life, like nothing I've done is just like solely from me, right? So
mm,
because I was blessed in so many ways, I really do want to bless other people.
mm,
Um but like, you know, if I bless someone 10 times, but like I'm not thought about, then I just need to think about that, you know? But yeah, like the root of it's still there. Like obviously I do care.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, your turn.
Okay. Oh gosh, my least favorite trait about myself.
I'm so curious.
I think I'm very okay. People might be like, "Oh my god, that's all of us girly," but I do feel like this is like my least favorite.
Uh-huh.
Is that like I'm very grudgy,
Oh.
like judgy but grudgy. Like I hold on to things very easily.
Oh.
Yeah, like
I'm
forgive and forget.
surprised.
I don't forget.
I'm
Yeah.
surprised. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think this is a big thing that I learned in my marriage
Uh-huh.
with Ben, but like it's very I have to like it takes a lot of self-control for me to not like go back and be like, "Well, remember you did this? Remember
Mm-hmm.
you did that?"
I do that too.
Yeah, I feel like we all have that, but I just
Mm.
like I kind of just hate that about myself of like I wish I was able to like let go a little bit more, but
It's tough.
it's like a battle where I have to be
Mhm.
like I have to let go
Mm.
and forget. Not yeah.
That's good because actually, like, I'm surprised by that because I feel like in the way I view you, like, you don't have that in my head. So the fact that you're telling me that, it's like, oh.
But I know it's like scary to say that because then I feel like people will be like, "Oh shoot, is she like being grudgy?" Like you know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah.
Like I don't want people to be like, "Oh gosh, she's gonna remember this. Oh, she's
I'm
gonna."
gonna analyze this whole
Yeah,
situation.
I don't think it's like that,
Yeah.
but it's like I think it shows up more in my marriage,
Yeah.
and like rightfully so. It's just
Yeah.
naturally like it's so easy to like go back down the list of like wrongs. But yeah, that's something that I like have that I'm
Yeah.
like, oof,
I can
that's my
relate to
toxic
that.
trait.
Oh, you're good. I think, I think what I like think your strength is, or like my favorite thing is, yeah, like I feel like you have a strong emotional intelligence. Like I feel like I could come to
Ooh.
you and like talk about things, and like you're like a good sounding board to me of like,
Mm.
oh, like I guess okay. Some of my friends, other friends, also would think like it's funny because they'd be like, "Oh, did you tell Lois this?" And I'm like, "Oh, no," but it's like it's because I think I respect your opinion,
Mm.
and I think because you know me so well, because you've seen me in such low points that
Mhm.
like I think I value that, you know, and I
Mm.
think not just for me, I think also other people, like when
Mhm.
I see from my peripheral, like
Mhm.
they come to you
Mm.
with their struggles and things, and
Mm.
you know, I think they value that quality time where like they can talk to you about things,
Mm.
and I would say it's a strength because um you can be close to a lot of people, right? Like other people too, but like I think the depth of the conversation is
Mm.
different, right? Like you can offer perspective, and because you're in a different life stage, it's like something I could look to, you know?
Mm.
So that's like one of them, I would say.
Oh, thanks.
Uh,
My high EQ.
yes, your high EQ. I love high EQ.
Nice. Okay. Number 2, you go for it.
I'm curious to see what our friends would say
I
about
know,
like what we're
right?
watching. Okay, anyways. Okay, have you ever our second question is, have you ever felt insecure in our friendship? And if so, why? And if not, why? Um
You wrote this, so do
yes.
you?
Yes. I would say I learned a lot about myself and grew a lot in the last couple of years, but I would say in college I was definitely like extremely insecure without even knowing. I think I knew I was insecure, but like deep rooted, I think like there was a lot of layers to that.
Mm.
And I think it goes back to the thing I don't like about myself. I remember in college I just wanted to be liked.
Mhm.
Like it was important to me because I wanted to feel a part of something or like accepted.
Mm.
And we'll go into reasons why in the future, but because of that, I think when I started to get close to you, I was like, and I saw you getting close to other people too.
Mhm.
I was like, oh wait, but like she's my friend, you know. I started to be like territorial.
In college?
I think so.
Did we talk about this
No,
before?
we never. This is why we're peeling back the
Oh my
layers and being
gosh.
vulnerable. But I think I would do that subconsciously.
Uh-huh.
But then over time, like I learned to like let that go because like I realized that, you know, all our closest friends can have other close friends and
Yeah.
our dynamics can be different.
Uh-huh.
But before I came to that conclusion, it was kind of like oh, if they're close to them, then they have less time for me, and then we're not going to get as close as like I would hope for this friendship that I can see like such potential in. And I think it just goes back to my rootedness of like caring so much. Cause I'm like, wait, I care so much, you know? So like, you want that reciprocated, even though it's not like a exchange. Like a friendship is not an exchange. It's like, you know, some people give 60 and other times you give 40, you know, it's give and take in that way. But I think if I'm honest with myself, there's probably times where I thought that. Yeah. But not now. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that. I almost feel like college you was like insecure people pleaser, and right now you're like a secure people pleaser.
Going there. There's still things I'm working on.
I know, but I just feel like you're so much more secure in yourself. And when it comes to people pleasing, it's more coming from a place of security and like care for people.
Yeah, yeah. Whereas, like abundance of wanting to get. Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I didn't know you felt that way. That's so funny.
That's young, insecure Irene.
Oh my god, I'm sorry you felt that way.
She did a lot of growth.
Oh, that's funny. I feel bad because I've never felt insecure in our friendship.
That's good.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I feel like because I know we barely touched our Seogong, by the way. I don't know. I feel like a reason why I'm grateful for you and our friendship is because you have shown. Okay, this sounds weird, but you've shown your loyalty.
Whoa, I've earned that.
You've earned it. That sounds so weird to say. No, but I feel like I've always felt like loved and cared for by you. Like we'll go into it, but like you in LA, me in OC, I eventually got married, I had a kid, but it's like we've always made the effort, I feel like it was always two-sided. And then in college, I mean, we were both kind of like doing our own thing and like we had our thing together, but I think you made like your own friends a little bit, I made my own friends. But then again, I feel like I'm a very low maintenance person. So like
I can admit I'm HQ.
Yeah.
A little high maintenance.
But I'm a lot less. I'm a low quality, not low quality, low maintenance person.
Yes.
And I don't know. I think I struggle with friendships a lot more maybe middle school, but I feel like in college I was already very secure in just like who I was and in my relationships with people.
You have a good group.
Yeah, that I was just like, oh, like if this person's close to me, that's fine. If not, then it's fine too. But you just happen to be someone where it blossomed into.
Yeah, and shout out to college for that.
I know.
Because honestly, I think about like if you weren't my roommate, like I'm sure life would be similar, but it would be drastically different.
Oh, that's crazy to think about. If we weren't roommates, what would have happened?
And she taught me a lot in college too, guys. We can go into that in the future, but yes.
Truly.
That was fun. I just love how I dumped that.
I know. I kind of want to skip to number 4, if that's okay.
Sure.
Okay, so number 4, we put, what was the moment I went from an acquaintance type friend to a more lifelong friend? This is a good question.
Okay, you go first.
I feel like, I don't know why, but I think it was when, so you lived under a rock a little bit. Would you be safe to admit that?
AKA shelter.
You never had a sleepover in your entire life until college.
It was crazy. Yeah.
I was your first sleepover, right?
Yeah, she popped that cherry. That's crazy.
I think like when I felt like this level of comfort of like, hey, do you want to come over? Come over with me on the weekend. And I think I invited you to like my family Thanksgiving one time.
Dude, and I never had Thanksgiving food.
Yeah, because you didn't have Thanksgiving plans and you were just gonna stay on campus. And I was like, just come to my
family doesn't celebrate. We don't eat. Yeah, just eat like Korean barbecue. You know?
Yeah, which is fine. But you were just gonna stay at school, and I was like, that's so sad. Like, can you just come with me and like
pick me up, guys?
Yeah, and I think just like having this level of comfortability of like bringing you to my home, but also like this sounds like a boyfriend, but introducing you to my family.
I was like, hello.
Was like not a defining moment.
We should get into the boyfriend
thing.
Thing.
Yeah, we will. But like, yeah, I think just like I don't think there was like a single moment, but it was just like, oh wow, like Irene's come over to my house. Like, Irene slept over here.
Sealed the deal.
Yeah, my family like fell in love with you too. Like
Okay.
they thought you were like the sweetest thing.
I ate so much. Like, I think there was one time where like I went over to her place, and my family eats a lot. I think we've come to terms with that. We're like, oh, we eat more than the average family. And I remember they like prepared some like meat or kogi for us with like rice, and I got like 2 bowls. And
My family?
no, I got 2 bowls. And then they were like, oh, you're going for another one? I was like, yes.
That's one thing I appreciate about us is we eat. When we're together, we eat and we yap.
Yes. I need to work out, but like we eat. I think for me, and we'll get into this in the future, but it was those late night talks, in college, where we really like bared our soul. Like, I think in our friendship up to this point, we haven't really cried in front of each other, but I think I did like once or twice. And, again, this was like me, it was like coming of age at that time. Like, I think I needed that. I think without that, I think I would be totally different today. Like, it mended something in me, I think, that I missed. That she just reminded me that like I'm good as I am, you know? And, yeah, those, you know how girls are, like, if you talk a lot with each other and have those deep talks, you get close. I know with guys, it's like, hey, bro, you say that a couple times and you get close, but like girls, it's all about the conversations and chit chatting. So, I think that was like a pivotal time. And I think I put so much value in that because, not to be dramatic, guys, I really feel like it like was like life saving at the time. Yeah. Because I was like that low on my self esteem. So it like really repaired a lot of that. So yeah, I would say that from there, things
I'm
like
having like flashbacks now to like these deep talks that we had.
yeah. From there, like obviously we've like done a lot of things, like concerts and other things. Those are like additives, but like I think that was like a pivotal time. Yeah.
Okay, then what? I'm just skipping to the next one. What is your favorite college memory of us? Aside from those deep talks, I guess.
Okay. You want me to go first or you? Okay. So guys, my favorite like college memory is when we would like stay up late and like make ramen on the fly, and then we would just like, oh my gosh, I think one time we watched like Walk to Remember. And guys, that's one of my favorite movies. If you know, the butterfly tat. And yeah, we were just watching that and eating, and then we had like a convenience store on campus, so we would like just walk across. It's a bit of a walk, so we would walk there, get our like little munchies, and just like eat and like again do stuff like this where we chat. So a lot of those like shared memories was like fun.
Yeah. I don't have a specific memory either, but like, yeah, just like those ramen nights. We were young back then, our bodies could take it. Now,
the MSG
I can't do a ramen night without waking up like swollen, my stomach destroyed.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, those ramen nights, like staying up late watching movies, like having no major responsibility besides our econ final. Or like, you know what I mean? Like,
and I think one time we even went to the gym once. We had like a new gym and we went one time, and I think we had a big sandwich after. But
you went one time. I maybe went a couple times.
I'm sorry, she went a couple times, and I went one time, and that was part of our tuition. So whoever's at UCR right now,
have to go. We're paying for this.
Yeah, whoever's at UCR right now, you're benefiting from the years and years of tuition from other folks.
I think just like those late night ramen munchy times, like that was so fun. Like it was so just fun. Like there was a sense of freedom that we didn't have before. Like obviously we weren't driving places. I mean, technically we didn't have a car, so not a lot of freedom. But like walking like late at night, no one telling us when to come home. Like
the freedom.
Yeah, it was just like so fun.
That
like,
was us being wild.
I know. I literally was gonna say we never like went to parties. No. Maybe a couple for you. I don't know.
Maybe in senior year.
Yeah.
She left me guys in the middle. We'll go into that, but
yeah, but we didn't even go to like parties. Like we were so
wholesome.
Is that wholesome? I don't know. I almost like look back and I'm like, I think it would have been more wholesome if we had like partied hard, maybe. Lifted up. Maybe.
You know, okay, so I talk about this a lot when people like meet Lois for the first time and or I talk about her to other friends. But I literally said like, okay, so I'm a younger sibling, and when my sister went to college, she did the whole sorority thing and all that. So, as a younger sibling, you want to do as your friend, or as your sister does. And so I had the mindset of like, oh, maybe I'll check this out. But because of my trajectory of meeting Lois and like things like that, like that's not something I went to do. So it's just like funny, like how that small thing changed like how I did college. Yeah.
Interesting.
I was really curious about sorority life.
Yeah.
Yeah. My other friends did it, but like if I were to go back, I'm like,
Well,
I think I would try
you
it.
could have been
Yeah.
a sorority girl.
I don't think I would have made it.
Sister. What is it called? Like sorority sisters or whatever? That's
Yeah,
so
I don't
funny.
think I would have made the cut.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I want to pop in one or two more questions.
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah. What do you want to jump to? You pick a deep one and then I'll go with the last one.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Let's go with what was your hardest season of our friendship?
What was our hardest season of our friendship?
If we had one.
If we had one?
I'm trying to think.
I don't know. I feel like this speaks to, or I don't know. I just feel like we had a pretty smooth sailing friendship. Like we never had major conflict.
We had one fight, I think.
Would you even call that a fight?
You know what I'm talking about?
I think I know what you're talking about. Okay, I guess that's literally what I would consider our hardest.
Should we go into that a little bit?
Okay. All right. I feel like you have better memory than me.
It was so dramatic.
Okay, you get into it. What happened?
I actually forgot the reason of why you were mad, but I remember like I'd be like, "Hey, Lois, you want to get like lunch?" She'd be like she would respond to me, but she would respond in a way that makes you know that she's upset with you, and she was like, "Oh, let's just talk about this later." And I remember one time we have a plaza near our campus, and University Plaza for anyone who knows, but so we would have to walk there, to eat if we wanted to eat in that area. And I remember we're like, okay, let's just go to Yoshinoya, which was near there. And she was like, let's just chat there. And she was like, I need to talk to you about this thing, but she would never make it a big deal, but she would just be a casual conversation. And I remember she said something about, I forget the reason, but yeah, we had a whole chat.
Wait, I don't remember this. What? Is this the same scenario of like when we talked about how like where we had to have the real talk where I was kind of like, oh, like you don't always have to be positive all the time or happy all the time.
No, that's
a different one.
That was a deep talk. Night.
That was a deep talk. Yeah. Okay, then I don't remember Yoshinoya, and I don't remember why I was mad. I can't think of a scenario of why I would be like genuinely mad at you.
But this is showing how we don't really fight. But yes, that was our one fight. I remember because I was so shocked. I was like, no.
Wait, really? That's so. I literally don't. I only remember that. Like, I think that was like we had pho or something. That deep talk where like, or did Yoshinoya lead to pho? Where basically I was mad because like you kept being so positive about everything.
Maybe I don't know.
That's like the only reason I can think of why I got mad. And I don't think I was even mad at you. That's so bizarre.
I crazy.
So in your
time healed all wounds.
Because in my memory, like I feel like our most like tense moment was when we like we're like I think I just like tried to share stuff with you, and you would always just be like,
yes,
like kind of trying to give me advice and kind of very like
positive
everything's
tone.
gonna be okay. And
yeah,
very happy to because
I really did believe that though,
and that's who you are, and that's fine. But I remember just having to tell you like, I just need you to like listen to me right now and let me be sad and let me.
Yeah, and I'm learning that too in adulthood.
You were like, what?
Yeah, even now, it's like funny because like when your friends talk to you, you're like, you want to be that positive person, but when you go through it, you understand. So it's like hard to turn it off. But,
that's so fun. Okay.
But anyways,
okay. We ever rack our brains for
never mind about the Yoshinoya thing, but it happened. Okay.
All right.
So the hardest thing was that, you think?
Being positive. Yeah. Like having that tough conversation because I feel like that's not an easy conversation to have.
Yeah.
Being like,
Like, don't be.
yeah, like, dude, stop.
Okay, let me sulk.
I think that showed how comfortable we were with each other.
Yeah,
So.
it's like sadness in the Inside Out movie.
No, really, yeah.
I think I'm gonna go a different route. I think the transition, like, although smooth, like, it was difficult, like, as, like, you know, like, Lois was getting married and then having a kid, like the way we hang out is different now. And so that is an adjustment, right? Because I'm still in my single girl era, so, like, you know, but Lois's time is very limited, and so, you know, we would do things all the time. Like, we went to the Taylor Swift concert together. Like, you know, we went on trips, and now, like, she can't just pick it up and go. So, like, just that change was an adjustment.
Yeah. I feel like, yeah, I realize that's something that could be hard on you. But I realize, like, I'm so grateful for your patience. Like, you never, like, made me feel like, oh, like, you don't have time for me enough. Like, anyway, like,
you're a mom now.
Yeah, so I'm, like, grateful, though, for your patience.
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah. I mean, I'm glad. Like, I'm glad, you know, that I can come and have the, you know, freedom to.
I feel like you said you're a high maintenance person, but at the same time, I feel like our friendship feels low maintenance because you've been so patient and, like, you've been so flexible in navigating, like, this life change of mine. And I think that's why we've been able to survive, is, like, high quality friendship, low maintenance.
Yeah. And guys, when I say I'm high maintenance, I don't think so, like, outwardly, but innately there's, like, things that, like, I hope for from friends and things like that.
And I don't think that's a bad thing at all to say that. Or feel that way.
But in terms of, like, outward appearance, maybe a little bit. Like, like,
you're
not
an LA
really.
girly. I always, like, when we hang out, I'm like, girl, you look like you're always a 10. I'm always, like, a 5.
It's so funny, guys, when I come down to OC to visit old friends, like, they're, like, dressed, right? And I'm just dressed normal as I would in LA. They're like, oh, you're so dressed up.
But you feel it, right? You feel like...
Yeah, I kind of feel like celebrity, like I'm walking through, you know, getting my coffee. But, like, literally, it's just how we dress in LA. So I'm just dressing how I, you know, and I love fashion.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Because they're it's very laid back in OC. So. Okay, you do that.
All right. Okay, so there's this funny trend on TikTok. You know the audio. Is somebody gonna match my freak? I feel like that trend is so funny, and I had to ask you, what's your freak? Like, you know, everyone's making the TikToks. I know you didn't make one, but it's like, is somebody gonna match my freak? And people in the parentheses put, like, what their freak is.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think is yours?
I've seen a couple of these, and I think I relate to some. But I'll do a general too. But one of them is, I don't even know if you call it a freak, but before I watch a show, I need to prep all my snacks. Like, if I'm, like, turning on Netflix, like, the show doesn't start until I have something to eat. Most of the time.
So you always have to have a snack?
Most times, yeah. Unless it's just, like, a late night binge, you know. But, like, in the middle of watching, I might crave some ice cream. So I just, like, you know, it's kind of like the movie theater at home. Another one is, if I'm obsessed with a song, I can listen to it for days and months at a time. The same song for the whole day. I think a long time ago, it was like a Justin Bieber song. I was, like, obsessed. And I listened to that specific song for, I think, 3 months every day for 8 hours a day. Oh my gosh. And then, okay, I forget what song it was, but I remember one time at work when I was, like, a coordinator at a job, I was listening to music as I was doing my job, and then I was just minding my own business, and people were starting to look at me weird. And I was like, what's going on? And I realized the headphone jack was not in. So the whole music was blasting in the whole office. And they were like, oh, you like Justin Bieber? And I was like, oh, yeah. I forget what song it was.
But you were just, like, vibing things.
No, literally. I was like, in my own, like world. And then they were like,
and everyone's hearing your song.
Like,
wait, how did you not realize? Like, can't you tell that it's not, like...
Apparently not. I couldn't tell. I think it was You the One with DJ Khaled.
I literally, my brain is blank.
I don't know, but yeah, that was like really funny.
Oh
But
my
I think
God.
those are very tame. How
Okay,
about
so
you?
you're obsessive. I do that too though. What's my freak right now? Okay, well I did make a TikTok saying my freak is like I use my son's
Oh
toothpaste.
yes, yes.
I hate flossing. So I've been using his like little animal, the cute animal
It
flossies.
helps.
It helps because it's like I think okay, this sounds so extra, but like it's the act of pulling the floss out, wrapping it
Yeah,
around your
a
fingers,
lot of work.
and then like it's a lot of work. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't want to do it. But then the little cute little animal things, you just like grab one and they're like it's like really easy.
It's easy and
I know,
small.
but I'm just like, this is terrible for the environment, but whatever. Because it's like plastic. I need
Uh-huh.
to get the biodegradable ones, but I think that's like one of my match my freaks.
I probably the dentists out there are probably like freaking out.
I
Like
know.
you don't like the floss process? It's tough,
To my
guys. It's
dentist, I'm
tough.
sorry, I'll come see you again. My gum health sucks.
Shout out to our dentist.
Yeah, I think my other one that I kind of thought of this morning because I was watching this other podcast where like I was listening to these girls talk about how okay, this is really gross.
Mhm.
Don't judge me. I don't wash my water bottle
Oh,
as often as I should.
I see. I don't use them, so for that
For-
reason, I don't want to clean them.
I know for my Stanley girlies, I have a simple modern tumbler now. I moved on from my Stanley. That's my freak. It's kind of disgusting. My toxic trait is that I don't wash it as often as
But
I
you still
should.
drink from it?
I do.
Does it smell?
So I've never gotten to the point where it smells, but I'm not I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'll open it and then see some grimies. I'll be like, oh shoot, okay.
That is your freak.
That's my freak. I'm
That
sorry.
is your
I
freak.
try to be clean. It's just like I think it's just one of these things where it's like it's just
It's a lot
water.
of work.
Yeah, it's just water. Like you just think like a little rinse will be fine, but it's like things
The
build
mold.
up. It's
Yeah.
disgusting.
That's why like I love the idea of a water bottle, but it's so cumbersome. That's why I'm like,
know.
I'd rather just like, get a cup or something.
Well, that's my freak.
I can never be a Stanley girl for that reason.
I've never seen you carry a water bottle before.
Yeah, I've been gifted it, and I drank it from it one time, and I cleaned it, and I never touched it again.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm dead. Well, that was the last question.
Awesome. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Till next time.
Till next time.
Episode 2.
We're learning as we go.
I know. Thanks for sticking around. If you listen to this whole episode, that was actually
like
an hour.
And we still have our snacks.
Yes. Shout out to Kalbi and Nongshim.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys had fun because I definitely did. And see you guys next time.
Alrighty. That's a wrap. Thank you.